Hello everyone, welcome to something very different. This is DSP Reacts to Rob Gavagan. He is a long-standing and prolific YouTube creator. He has had a very successful YouTube channel, very successful, tons of views, tons of subscribers. The guy is very, he's been down the road of a YouTuber just like me, okay? And he does some pretty unique stuff. He basically covers stories that are strange, weird, unusual, in some cases supernatural, unexplained. And in addition to that kind of stuff, he also covers serial killers. Okay? So there's a lot of stuff that he covers. We have a variety of stuff to check out. His serial killer files essentially are, serial killer cases that you can track and follow. Then he's got things that were been caught on camera. He's got Twisted 10s, which are countdowns of 10 different things in one video. It's kind of like a rapid fire, boom, boom, boom kind of stuff. Seriously Strange are more in-depth videos about specific subject matters. Okay? Kind of interesting. And then he's also got, I guess this is his newest stuff. He's got other stuff on the channel as well. But I'm thinking we should kind of start with some of this stuff. All right? And then maybe delve into more deeper stuff if you want. He does have other series as well. Maybe we could even go into what are his most popular uploads, like 10 photos taken right before death, which is 19 million views. That's more views than I ever got on any video I ever put out. Holy shit. Pretty crazy, huh? So, we're going to talk. I'm live with my audience right now. We're going to talk about what you guys want me to start with in just a second. But I would like to say shout out to Ruby, who just did a super chat and said, do a kidnapping video. I didn't even know that there were kidnapping videos. Again, I've only seen a couple of videos from his channel because I didn't want to spoil myself knowing kind of everything that he's done. And like, what's the point, right? So, what do you guys think? Should we start with serial killers? Should we start with Seriously Strange Twisted 10s? Should we just do a full-on Seriously Strange episode? Or should we do some of his most viewed videos ever? Let's see what people have to say here. Listen to this guy's. This guy's name is, hold on. Tickle in my throat. It's not a good start when you're going to react to stuff. Teeples Hobbycraft. I have no idea what that means. What a name. They tipped me $3. They said, when you mentioned Rob Gavagan, he has true or false tales. He does. He has this series where basically he will give you a series of stories and you don't know if they're real or not, and then you have to kind of pick, and then he'll tell you at the end what was real and what was fake. Some are fake, which is kind of interesting. Maybe what I should do is give you the premise. Actually, I will do that. Because we had a conversation about his stuff, and he fully explained his stuff to me. So I think what we will do is go through this, and then you guys will pick what we want to do. Okay? So T-Bull's Hobbycraft says, did you ever watch the TV show Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction? You'll watch 5 stories within an hour and have to guess which are fact. It ran from 97 to 2002. Didn't that have, what's his name, Robert Frakes or whatever, the guy who played the first in command or second in command of the Enterprise on Next Generation? Wasn't he the host? Jonathan Frakes. That's his name, Jonathan Frakes. Yeah, I've only seen clips of it. It's a very memeable show on the internet, right? People meme the crap out of that. So I've seen clips. I've never seen the actual show. Thank you for the tip. And by the way, I do want to give a huge shout out to Rob. He gave me permission to do this today. I asked, and he's like, yeah, absolutely. So from Rob himself, all right, here's a premise of the content on this channel, and then we're going to pick some stuff to react to. So, Seriously Strange covers anything from bizarre phenomena to unsolved criminal cases. Sometimes it's in a short list format, but lately he does a single case covered per episode. As we saw, these are single cases, while Twisted 10s are more of a countdown of multiple things in one. See that? Then there's Twisted 10s. It's usually the most shocking content that I do. Top 10 countdowns of disturbing events. Twisted Tens is popular. One for reaction. It's a popular one for other reaction channels. You'd probably get the most bang for your buck with that one. So he's recommending we do Twisted Tens. Okay. Serial Killer Files focuses on looking into the life of serial killers. Anatomy of Murder is similar. I don't see a playlist for that. It's probably on here, though, somewhere. So he says Anatomy of Murder is similar. Oh, here you go. Here's all of his playlists. This is actually what I should have looked at, huh? Anatomy of Murder is similar. It focuses on different types of murder outside of serial killings, like homicide, single homicides, mass murders, killing sprees. There it is. Look at this motherfucker. Truth or Tale, that's this one, is one that may do well to react to because it's 5 cases. Some are real and some are fiction. The audience will be asked to determine which is real and which is fake, and then it's revealed at the end of the episode. Very few episodes of this series were produced, so it's only a few episodes. 3 videos, it says. Okay. And then he basically says, you know, there's other sub-series he's done, but probably they won't do as well. It's probably going to be this, 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 or that. Oh, Jesus Christ. Some weird fucking shit. All right. Boy. By the way, Guitar Player 1939 just took me $20. Thank you so much, Guitar Player. With that, we have hit the vest goal. All right. So that's 153. Now, the reason that I'm doing this next one is because this is a double stream. Instead of doing 2 separate streams, I'm doing one long one. If we hit the $200 goal, that means later on, halfway through the stream, I'm going to switch hats. And we get to pick for a second hat, okay? Thank you, Guitar Player. Now is vest time. Okay. Which vest is Rob Gavagan best? I have no idea. What vest would be Rob Gavagan best? We will do the original beige, the gold, denim, and how about red? I haven't worn the red vest in a long time. Not platinum, because we did platinum recently. There we go. All right, people. All right, how about this? Let's just jump into Twisted Tens, just for the hell of it. Where is it? But he's done these for years, right? Like, how long has he done this series? There's probably like 1 million videos in this series, I bet. Oh my God, 5 years ago? Holy shit. Look at this. I mean, holy crap, there's so many. Where do you even start? Right? So many. Stage performances ending in death. Oh, fuck. That's fucked up, man. Oh. The Ferris Bueller one? There was a Ferris... 10 actors who killed people in real life. All right. We're starting with this one. I want to see what actors killed people in real life. All right? Here we go.
Warning. This episode contains content that may be disturbing to some viewers.
Make sure I can pause. Okay. Great. Oh, by the way, is everything... Yeah, everything's good. I want to make sure you guys can see everything. How was the volume there? Was that good or too loud? Is it good? How was that volume? Or should I just keep going? Good?
Discretion is advised.
Sounds good for me. Okay.
We often see the lives of actors and wish that we had that for ourselves, but it just goes to show that you really need to be careful what you wish for.
Lower the volume here. Okay. The artwork is actually quite good for the channel. I like that. He must have had someone doing some nice art for him. So his real name is Rob Dyke. I didn't know that. Matthew Broderick actually killed someone?
An actor who had just made his big break makes a rather big mistake.
What?
In 1987, Matthew Broderick was riding on the success of his film Ferris Bueller's Day Off while vacationing in Ireland with his then secret girlfriend, actress Jennifer Grey, whom he met on the set of the movie.
Oh, she played
Matthew
his
and
sister.
Jennifer had rented a red BMW to get around the Irish countryside, and visibility had been good during their travels, but the roads were slick from a brief downpour that covered the area. But Matthew was driving well, according to a police officer who followed the BMW for several miles. But that suddenly changed as Matthew, with Jennifer in the passenger seat, for unknown reasons, crossed into the opposite lane and crashed head-on into a brown Volvo containing 2 passengers, 30-year-old Anna Gallagher and her mother, 63-year-old Margaret Doherty, both of whom died upon impact. While Jennifer walked away unscathed, Matthew wasn't as lucky. He suffered a broken leg, cracked ribs, in addition to a collapsed lung and a concussion that was bad enough that he had no recollection of the entire day of the crash. Though he recovered, Matthew still faced charges of causing death by dangerous driving, a sentence that would have put him behind bars for 5 years. However, the court only convicted him of a smaller misdemeanor, for which his only punishment was a $175 fine. The outraged family called the ruling a travesty of justice, even though they held no ill will against the actor, knowing Matthew would have to live with the results of his actions for the rest of his life. The actor says to this day, the crash and the lives lost still haunt him.
No, I can fucking imagine. Like, so if this is the case, right? He wasn't intoxicated. He wasn't, maybe, you know, like, what happened? What could cause you to have that kind of a situation? Amazing that this is the first thing we're doing. For those who don't know, I got into a really serious car accident when I was in high school, okay? And no, I wasn't driving a fucking sports car or anything. But what happened to me was, I was driving my car. I had just gotten onto, not a highway, but they called it like an expressway, a parkway. It's only a 2-lane road, but people drive on this thing really, really fast, okay? So I had gotten onto the road. Now, I'm not intoxicated. I'm not in drugs or anything. I'm paying attention. In fact, if anything, I was basically overly paying attention. I got on, and as I was getting on to the highway, I decided I was going to lane change left to get into the faster lane because I was going to be driving for a while, several exits before I got off. So I go to lane change left. I signal and everything. As I'm going to the left lane, this guy is flying. I mean, he had to be going, no exaggeration, like 100 miles an hour. He's coming up so fast on me. He's definitely going to rear end me. So I said, oh shit. And I swerved back into the right lane. I had been lane changing, and I swerved back into the right lane to get out of his way. He flies by me like so fucking fast, narrowly missing me. But I overcompensate. And when I overcompensate, I hit the right barrier, which sends my car bouncing like a pinball from one side of this expressway to the other. The problem is this is not a big road. It's only a 2-lane road. So it goes bing, 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 and then eventually flies off into, there's an overpass of a bridge, and I fly into the side of this overpass, and my car gets completely fucking totaled. I walked away with a completely burnt side of my face because my airbag had deployed, and it burnt the entire left side of my face. So I had all this fucked up flesh and also like all this cuts and stuff on my face. So I looked hideous. But thank God the airbag went off, because if it hadn't, I would have died. My door had impacted to where my head was. So if the airbag hadn't stopped my forward movement, my head would have went into the door and I would have died. Okay? My passenger, who was my friend at the time, completely unscathed. The only thing that happened to him, his glasses flew off his eyeball or his head and flew into the woods. So he lost his glasses. But outside of that, he literally never had an issue at all. Okay? But, dude, narrowly died. Like barely survived. Okay? So in this case, with Matthew Broderick, I wonder what happened. Like, what would cause him to veer from, he's perfectly in his lane, right? What would cause him to veer directly into oncoming traffic and hit someone head on like that, right? Like, here's the thing. Logically, it doesn't sound like it would be something that would happen to a normal person. You say, oh, he was drunk. He wasn't paying attention. He was fucking around. But I've been in that situation, and it happened to me. And it wasn't because I was fucking around. It wasn't because I was being an asshole. Someone was going to rear end me, and I wanted to get out of their way. Was there something that he wanted to avoid, or did he think he saw something that he wanted to avoid? Now, of course, what we have to ask here is, the real question here is, he says he forgot the whole day, right? I mean, let's be honest here. Doesn't that sound a little convenient? He forgot the whole day, right? Like, really? The entire day? I don't know about that. I could definitely see, like, it was traumatic and his mind blocked it out, or he got bonked in the head so hard he had a concussion, but he completely forgot the entirety of the day. I don't know about that. But maybe this is a case of really bad distracted driving, and it's just unfortunate that it turned out the way it did. But it sounds to me like they just couldn't prove anything. They couldn't prove that he did anything wrong. He wasn't drunk. He wasn't high, right? So I guess, yeah, they hit him with a fine, but, you know, what else are you going to do? It sucks, though. What sucks is that there's now people who are dead, and it's not like he intended for it. It's not like, you know, it's just a horrible accident, and now he's got to live with that for the rest of his life, you know? That's awful. Awful. Not awful just for him, but obviously the family, too. When something happens like that and it's unexplained, right? That's the worst. Quark says, I live a few miles away from where the crash happened. There's no markings on that road. So he crossed over inadvertently. So what you're saying is the road has no divider line to tell the different sides of the road? Well, that would be fucking dangerous as shit, right? Like, don't you want to have a divider to tell you to stay on your side? Huh. Anyway, wow. First story, and already we've had a lot to say about it. Shout out to Braden, who became a channel member. Thank you, Braden, for the membership. And it looks like the gold vest has won. So let me get... Oh, it was in Ireland, and on Ireland, you drive on the left side of the road. Oh, so maybe he's used to driving on the right side. He's driving on the left side because it's Ireland, but he got confused. And he crossed over to the wrong side by complete accident. Damn, that's fucked up. Gold vest. Let me get the gold vest and then we'll continue. Here we go. Okay. Thank you guys for your support so far today. We literally just started. We've already hit all our tier 1 tips goals here. Thank you. And again, like I said, we're doubling on the tips goals today because it's only one stream I'm doing. You'll get double rewarded later on in the stream. Okay? Awesome. Okay. Ready? Let's continue. Here we go. I didn't know about this story. I had no clue. Faye Dewitt? I don't know who that is.
It's always good to see a victim put their abuser in their rightful place.
Oh, really?
It was 1965, and Faye Dewitt, an actress who played on Mork and Mindy, held a letter opener tightly in her grasp before viciously attacking her ex-husband, a playwright named Ray Allen, and stabbing him repeatedly. Her husband was overwhelmed by the assault and succumbed to his injuries, and just like that, Faye was in the spotlight again, but this time for murdering her ex-husband. Faye's career may have ended right there had it not been discovered that Ray had actually broken into her home and began assaulting her.
Jesus.
This uncovered years of terrible abuse.
Now wait a minute. Why are they showing Robin Williams? That's not Robin Williams is not the ex-husband. That's creepy because if you didn't know the perspective, that is not her ex-husband. These are the two actors from Mork and Mindy, the comedy show. What? That's a poor choice of. I'm sorry, Rob. That's a poor choice of picture. If you didn't have the perspective of knowing the show, you'd be like, "That's her ex-husband. Look at that piece of shit." That's poor Robin Williams, man.
That Ray inflicted on Faye, and Faye wasn't going to take it anymore.
Well, good for her.
Fortunately, she came out on top and continues her acting career today.
Nice.
Nothing enhances a person's character better than real-life experience. An actress, an author, and a rapper, Felicia Pearson has seen a lot in her life. Felicia's acting career is most notable for her part in The Wire, but crime was something she was more personally familiar with. Before she was even a teenager, she began selling drugs, which was obviously a path that just led to more and more trouble. In 1995, when Felicia was only 14, she got into a fight with a 15-year-old girl who was armed with an aluminum baseball bat. Felicia claimed the girl attempted to beat her with the bat, and for this, Felicia withdrew a gun and shot the girl dead. Felicia was charged with second-degree murder and sentenced to 2 consecutive 8-year prison terms. She was released after 6.5 years. Unfortunately, in 2011, Felicia was involved in another drug-related crime, but has said she wishes to move on from a life of criminal activity.
Jeez. How the hell did she get a gun when she was a teenager? But of course, I shouldn't ask that question because we live in America and fucking you can get a gun. All right, I don't want to get into it. I'm going to get upset. Okay.
Temptation is at times a stepping stone to destruction. American actor Lane Garrison, who is mostly recognized for playing the role of inmate Tweener on Prison Break,
Prison Break, yeah. I never saw Prison Break, but I recognize it.
To prison, even from Offset. On December 2nd, 2006, Lane, who was 26 at the time, was out grocery shopping in Beverly Hills when he met 3 teenagers. 2 15-year-old girls named Michelle Ohana and Chen Sagi, and 17-year-old Von Sedian. After bragging about his status as a Hollywood actor, the teens invited Lane to a high school party, and Lane not only agreed to attend, but offered to buy alcohol and even drive them to the gathering.
What? Should I comment on this one? Oh, I'm a big shot Hollywood actor. I'm going to hang out with 15-year-olds and buy them liquor. That sounds like a good idea. All right. Continue.
While at the party, Lane partook in cocaine and drank until his blood alcohol level was 0.2, over twice the legal limit. Eager to continue the festivities, he offered to drive the teens back to the store to purchase more alcohol, and when they asked if he was safe to drive, he assured them they would all be well.
Yeah,
Lane and the 3 teenagers got back into his SUV, only they never made it back to the store, and one of them would never return home at all.
Wow.
Under the influence of multiple substances, Lane crashed his car into a tree on South Beverly Drive, severely injuring the 2 girls and killing Vaughn. Lane pled guilty to vehicular manslaughter, but was only charged with a 3.5-year sentence, less than half the maximum sentence. He was also forced to pay over $300,000 to the families of the teenagers, but no amount of money could undo the death of Vaughn. And his family and classmates mourned their loss. Lane was released from prison in 2009 after serving just 2 years, but said in a tearful apology that the remorse and guilt he feels is genuine and that he's felt it every day since.
Well, hopefully he changed his life around and he's off all that shit and he doesn't do that stuff anymore. You know, that's all you can say about a situation like that. Like, obviously, this guy did everything wrong. By the way, guys, thank you. We hit 100 likes on the stream. Thank you for the support so far today and the engagement. Well, you know what's funny? We're only up to number 6. People in the chat are like, damn, these people outright just murdered people and they got off with like 3 years in prison. You'd be interested to know how the American system works. Seriously, our laws are very weird and unique, and basically there's all these ways you can get around them or get lenient treatment, you know. But I mean, man, here's a guy who literally made every wrong decision possible and people paid for it with their lives. You got to hope someone like that, he came out the other end reformed, right? Like maybe he never does drugs or drinks ever again, right?
Some people only play good guys on TV. Michael Jace would be easily recognized by fans of The Shield, where he played a Los Angeles police officer.
I didn't watch The
Michael
Shield.
often played an individual who was responsible for keeping people safe, but his true character betrayed that role.
Oh, geez.
Michael had been married to April Jace for 11 years. April was an avid runner and had won many competitions. The two had 2 sons together, but eventually Michael began to grow suspicious that April was no longer being faithful to their marriage. On May 19th, 2014, police arrived at Michael's Los Angeles home after receiving a report of domestic violence and a call from Michael himself saying he shot his wife. When police entered his home, they found April dead from multiple gunshot wounds. Michael had shot her in the back and then in the legs, specifically to destroy her greatest passion in life, running.
Wow.
Both of their sons witnessed the murder, one of them recalling that Michael said, "You like to run so much, why don't you try running to heaven," before shooting her. Michael was sentenced on June 10th, 2016 to 40 years to life for the murder of April Jace.
Wow. Damn. That's like, that's fucking cold as shit. Fuck, man. Try running to heaven. Well, that's the end of that. I mean, there's no way you can try to write that off to that. Oh, that was unintentional. He wasn't trying to kill her. Oh, really? He told her to run to heaven. Yeah. Okay.
Sometimes a person still needs to pay, even if the event was a complete accident. Rebecca Gayheart is not only an actress, but a model who has a bit of experience in the darker side of the screen, having played parts in Scream 2, Vanished, and Nip Tuck, to name a few. It was no secret that Rebecca was hardworking and on her way to a successful acting career, but on June 13, 2001, Rebecca had an experience that would change a number of lives, never mind her own. While driving her car through Los Angeles, a 9-year-old boy walked across the street and right into Rebecca's path. Unfortunately, she was unable to stop in time, and she struck the young boy, who died of his injuries the following day. Rebecca pled no contest to vehicular manslaughter and was sentenced to 3 years of probation, along with a suspended license, a fine, and 750 hours of community service. Rebecca feels great remorse for the horrible accident and said she would carry the events from that day with her for the rest of her life.
I mean, this
but
is
has done well
awful.
at continuing her career.
Completely different from the other stories, because that's one where she didn't really have anything to do, you know, it was just bad luck. Kid ran right in front of her car. What are you gonna do, right? It wasn't, you know, no murder, no bad judgment, just bad fucking luck. That sucks. Terrible.
Proof that the hardest points in life shape us into who we become. Charles S. Dutton was not only a producer of HBO's The Corner, but both a television and screen actor known mostly for his role in Rudy and Alien 3.
Oh, yeah. I was just going to say, I recognized him, and I remembered seeing him in, like, a prison, and that's Alien 3.
Smaller parts in many other films over the years, but life hasn't always been smooth sailing for the actor, especially in his youth. At the age of 17 in Baltimore, Maryland, Charles decided to drop his education in favor of chasing his dreams of becoming a boxer. However, he got into a fight with a young man and stabbed him, mortally wounding him. Charles contested that the violent act had been one of self-defense, but he was found guilty of manslaughter and was sentenced to 7 years behind bars. He served out his full 7 years and was released, the weight of his actions still heavy on his shoulders. But Charles credits his time behind bars for turning his life around, saying in an interview that if he hadn't served time, he would have either been dead or strung out on alcohol and drugs, and never discovered his love for acting.
Wow.
A dream he still pursues to this day.
And that is a perfect example of our, if you can believe it, our legal system working and our prison system working, which doesn't really happen often, but because he was in the prison system, he reformed his life. He comes out the other end and he's a better person for it, and now he has a full, rich life. That's a great story. Thank God we got a good story. I want some good stories out of this, not all terrible stories.
Many people enjoy a nice mixed drink, but there's plenty of things that those drinks don't mix with. Amy Lokane hasn't done too much acting, but she did have a role playing Sandy Harling in the first season of Melrose Place, a well-known soap opera in 1992.
Certainly never saw that.
She also played love interest to Johnny Depp in the 1990 cult classic Cry Baby, among other roles in other productions. In 2006, Amy retired from acting on screen after getting engaged, and in 2008 was married. Things seemed great from the outside, but on June 27, 2010, Amy had been drinking and was out driving. As an elderly couple were turning into their driveway, returning home after spending time out of the house, Amy collided into their car, severely injuring the man and killing his wife. It was discovered that Amy's blood alcohol level was 3 times the legal limit at the time. For this, she was eventually sentenced to 3 years in prison. She was released on parole on June 12, 2015.
You know, I know a lot of people don't take it seriously. If anything, I can tell you guys, please listen to this. Don't drink and drive, man. Don't do it. I will openly admit I've done it. And it is horrible to do. It is scary. You do not have full control over your body at all, as much as of a good driver as you think you are. Oh, and by the way, this is a million years ago. This is when I was young and stupid. Not any time, you know. This was in the mid-2000s. I had a job where I had to commute every day. And it was an office-style job. And some people, after the fact of work, would want to go out to the restaurants or bars in the area and have a drink or whatever. And I don't know why. I mean, I was just really, it's stupid. There's no point in doing it. What I really don't understand is, how do people go to a bar or a restaurant and drink all that and then drive home? You're drinking and driving. You just shouldn't do it, period. Like, I don't think there's a situation where it should be acceptable that you're going to go out and have several drinks and then drive. Like, anyone who goes to a bar, how are you getting home? A taxi, an Uber, or are you driving? A lot of those people are driving. You know what I mean? You shouldn't do that. It's fucked up, you know? And thank God nothing bad happened, but I remember a few times, like, after work, oh, we're going to go across the street to, what was it, Fridays? TGI Fridays? Or was it Applebee's? It was one of those, okay? So we go across the street, and we order a bunch of appetizers, we order a few beers or whatever, you know, and then I'm driving home, and it's like, dude, I'm fucking, my head is spinning when I'm driving and shit. Like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? And then, really, the last time that I actually did it, I remember the reason I never did it again, I was so stupid, I didn't even check the weather, okay? And I was at the bar with the same coworkers, had a few drinks, probably like 3 beers, and I'm driving home buzzed, and it starts snowing, okay? Snowing. And I'm on the highway in snow, buzzed, trying to drive home. And it was fucking terrifying. Terrifying, because I did not have full control of that vehicle in snow. All right? And I remember getting home, and I was, like, covered in sweat, my whole body from head to toe, because I thought I was going to kill myself driving home. I nearly made it, I felt. And after that, I said, I'm not doing this anymore. You know, it's just not worth it. And I remember there was one other time that I went to a restaurant or bar with my coworkers, and I told them I'm not drinking. I said, I'll have some apps or whatever, you know, I'll have some of these wings or whatever. I can't have any, I can't do this. This is just, it's ridiculous, you know. So, and then since then I refuse. I'm not going to go out and drink and drive. That's fucked up. It's too much of a risk. For what? For what? What is the point? Okay, let's continue. I'm sorry. It's scary, it's just scary.
A
I actually scare
horrific
myself thinking
on-set
about
accident with an actor who had no idea he was about to end someone's life. Michael Massey, an actor known for playing the gentleman in the recent The Amazing Spider-Man, was first recognized in the 1994 cult hit The Crow, where he played the villain opposite the hero, played by Brandon Lee, the son of legendary martial artist and actor Bruce Lee. But Brandon dreamt of paving his own way in Hollywood, and The Crow was shaping up to skyrocket him to A-list status.
No, is he the guy who killed him? Oh, fuck. This is going to be so sad,
Unfortunately, that all changed during the filming of a pivotal scene in which Brandon's character was to be shot with a .44 caliber revolver. During the shoot, the prop crew was under serious time constraints and placed a blank round in the barrel of the gun. not realizing the lead tip of a previous dummy round was still lodged inside. The gun was handed to Michael Massey and the scene played out just as rehearsed until the shot was fired at Brandon, sending the lead tip straight into his abdomen where it severed an artery. Brandon was rushed to the hospital, but after 6 hours of intensive surgery, he finally succumbed to his injuries. The death was ruled accidental, and Brandon's family and the crew mourned their loss, but went on to complete and release the film in his honor, so he would forever be immortalized in film as he always had dreamed. Still, 20 years later, Michael, who pulled the trigger, struggles with the events of that fateful day, saying, "I don't think you ever get over something like that."
No, how could
he has
you?
never watched the film and still refuses to.
I don't blame him. Jesus, man. That's one of the worst things that can happen.
A story that goes to show the importance of mental health. Johnny Lewis was 28 years old and well on his way into his acting career. He was perhaps best known for playing half-sack Epps in the first 2 seasons of Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah, I saw it. I watched a lot of Sons of Anarchy. I watched 4 seasons, I want to say. I saw all the way up to when they went to Europe. Didn't they go to Ireland or whatever? They went to the home country of where the gang came from. That's the last season I saw. So I've seen this guy. I recognize him for sure.
Johnny had a troubling past, having been involved in drugs and had been arrested 3 times between 2011 and 2012 for outbursts of violence and attempting to break into a person's house. In 2011, Johnny suffered head injuries from a motorcycle accident, but showed a great aversion to psychiatric treatment. On September 26, 2012, Johnny broke into the Los Angeles home of his 81-year-old landlord, Catherine Davis. He entered her bedroom, where she was, and began beating her, before eventually strangling her to death.
Oh my God.
He then violently attacked Catherine's cat before killing and dismembering it.
What? Oh my God, he was fucking insanely crazy. Like, even if you have a grudge against your landlord, then you brutally murder and dismember the fucking... He's nuts. So, you know, now you gotta ask, was it mental illness? Was it a result of the accident fucking with his head? Oh my God.
He ended up on the roof of Catherine's garage and fell off and died on the pavement of her driveway.
What?
The coroner ruled Johnny's death as accidental and claimed that all tests indicated Johnny had no drugs or alcohol in his system at the time of the murder. And to this day, his motive remains unknown.
What the fuck? So no one has any idea why he did it.
That's all for this episode. Be sure to subscribe to my channel.
Wow. Well, that was certainly an interesting way to get started with Rob Gavagan's stuff. Wow. Damn. Okay, well. All right. I think that was a little bit too realistic for me. I think maybe I'd like to do some maybe unsolved stuff or supernatural stuff. Oh, I agree, Plum Girl. Rob has a really good narrator voice. I agree there. Let's see here. I want to watch like something that has to do with ghosts or, you know what I mean? What do we see here? Oh God, diet trends. I don't even want. Oh, this looks disgusting. Everything is terrifying on this channel. Oh, let's see here. Scary plants. All right, this is Twisted Tens. I'm trying to think, like, how will we find supernatural? How will we... Oh, my God. Dude, I don't even need to watch the videos. I don't even need to watch the videos. I could just look at the thumbnails and react. Guitar Player did a super chat says you should watch Why Would You Put That on the Internet? Well, the thing is, from what I'm to understand, that series is not basically what he's known for. And quite frankly, I think he leaves character for that show. That's more like, okay, like for example, if I'm doing an edited video with voiceover and a review versus me off the cuff on a stream, that's kind of like, those shows are more like that. And quite frankly, I think he wants me to react more to this stuff. This is the stuff he's really proud of, as opposed to that other stuff. Deep sea creatures, you want to do that? 10 disturbing deep sea creatures. That thing is insane. All right, let's do this.
Beneath the surface of the ocean, there exists many massive
God.
ecosystems
Those are
we have
meters.
yet to discover. Creatures which we have never seen hide from the sun's light, living and dying without a single moment of
boy.
human interaction. And indeed, we may never know
That's
just
cute.
how
I
many
like that. That's
thousands
cute.
of
Is that real?
species have lived out this cycle.
You know, the crab
without
actually isn't that scary.
human
It's actually kind of cool.
discovery.
I like that. Super long legs. It's like a daddy long leg crab, right? Okay. Fossils, so these aren't living. These are
As our
remnants.
ocean continues to lose its shark population to excessive hunting, some species remain of the least concern when it comes to survival. Sharks have been on our planet for hundreds of millions of years, surviving more than one mass extinction event. Some of these species are even considered living fossils, including the rarely seen frilled shark.
That's real?
This breed of shark
Whoa.
maintains several features that make it appear quite primitive compared to its better-known relatives. The frilled shark only grows to about 7 feet in length. Instead of the usual gray you'll see on other species, the frilled shark looks more like an eel with its dark brown
Definitely
skin.
looks like an eel,
Its
elongated
dorsal,
body.
pelvic, and anal fins, alongside its fringed gill slits, make its appearance seem similar to animals from the age of dinosaurs. As it is not often observed,
It probably lives way deep down because you see how its eyes are all sunken into its head and everything. So it's probably like one of those really deep sea creatures that you wouldn't see anywhere near the surface. That's why it looks so different from a typical shark.
in the wild, it is assumed that it may
at those
lunge
teeth.
forward at prey like a snake. It typically dwells between 39 and 5,200 feet below the surface, although it
There you
does
go.
appear in Japan's Suruga Bay as close as
Oh!
524 feet below the
Whoa!
surface. The
Personal
frilled shark's
space,
teeth
bro.
look like needles. They are sharp and very capable of snatching up squids and other cephalopods. While they may pose no threat to human beings, they rarely make it into captivity due to their tendency to remain in the depths
Right, they're
of
going to
the
stay way
ocean.
down. That's what they're built for. Jesus. Okay. Ghost? I want to find
No
one
matter
of
how
those.
big the creatures of the deep get, there's always going to be something small enough to
seen these
sneak
things
by the
before.
bigger predators. The deeper you find life in the crushing depths, the stranger these creatures become.
A lot of video games
The
have fish that
Fangtooth
look like
Fish
this.
is hideous first and foremost. Its gaping mouth comes equipped with the largest proportioned teeth of any fish. These fish only reach
Oh,
about
they're really
6
small.
inches in size at most.
Oh.
Their mouths also feature mucus cavities and serrated edges. Their eyes are almost on top of their heads,
That's
and
really
their
small.
fins
It's not
are
scary.
spineless. They rarely appear close to the surface and are known as one of the deepest living fish in the world, inhabiting the ocean as far down as 6,500 feet.
You
They
know-
sometimes rely on dumb luck to bump into their food
Dumb
when they
luck.
aren't devouring as much zooplankton as they can find.
You know, they're not much to look at. I mean, you could argue they're pretty ugly, but I bet they have a lovely singing voice.
Ugly and low on the food chain, the fangtooth fish can stay right where it belongs, deep within the ocean, away from sight.
Okay. It's in Finding Nemo. Maybe that's where I remember it from.
Aquatic life can be fascinating when it
Oh, is this
comes
the one
to
that has the
adaptation.
light on its head? This is in
well,
video
beneath
games a
the
lot.
ocean's surface, you'll find the oddest defense mechanisms. You'll even find fish who have developed unique methods of luring their prey.
Yeah.
Perhaps the most unique method comes from the anglerfish.
The anglerfish.
A carnivorous fish, the anglerfish dwells about 3,000
light
feet
on its
below
head.
the surface. Just like the fangtooth, they bear sharp, vicious-looking fangs that jut at an angle, perfect for snatching their prey by surprise. Their name comes from a glowing, dangling growth on their head that
crazy.
serves
There's
to
a freaking light
lure
on its
smaller
head.
fish into their range. Horrific and deadly, the angler can reach up to 100 pounds.
You know, these different-
You won't
Wait,
likely
what?
find this fish on your plate, but if you
100
do,
pounds?
you'll be pleasantly surprised. It's been said to taste similar to lobster tail.
Oh, wow. Delicious. Well, let's have some angler for dinner. We should have got that for Feasting with the King today. Some anglerfish.
Ever since Jaws tore up the box office in 1975, sharks have become popular enemies in film. Dozens of shark
Enough
movies are
said,
made every year,
Sharknado.
sometimes with
Oh my God.
ridiculous premises like Sharknado. If you think the gimmicks in those movies are unbelievable, there are bizarre versions of sharks you can find if you are 300 feet below the surface. The Goblin Shark is one of the longest-lasting species
The schnoz shark.
on the planet, having derived from a lineage of sharks over 125 million years ago. Similar to the frilled shark, it doesn't sport the traditional gray skin of its larger relatives. Its pink skin gives it a strange appearance.
Wow.
The eyes rest almost at the top of its head, giving it an appearance of a low-intelligence creature. This pales in comparison to its very odd-shaped snout, protruding jaws, and teeth shaped like jagged nails. The Goblin Shark also sports tiny fins and a plump body, suggesting that it is not as quick or speedy as other species of sharks. Its nose allows it to detect electric fields, making prey easier to capture. While it poses no threat to humans, its meat is not desirable. This is one shark that may prowl your nightmares,
swallow that fish whole.
but it won't be washing ashore on a beach near you anytime soon, as the Goblin Shark rarely comes up from the depths and is a rare sight to see even for deep-sea divers.
The Goblin Shark. Crazy. Gulp? What the hell?
Eels aren't exactly the scariest creature to come from the ocean. They may be a bit creepy the way they slither through the water, but there's little to fear. With that said, the deeper you find yourself in the ocean, the freakier nature shapes its monsters.
Like Pac-Man.
The Pelican Eel, also known as the Gulper Eel, is actually a deep-sea fish and not a true eel.
Oh.
It still sports a snake-like body, but a pelican eel's distinguishing feature is its terrifyingly large mouth.
Right up.
The pelican eel's name comes from the fact that its mouth is similar to pelican birds that reside hundreds of feet above these fish on the surface. All it has to do to catch its prey is unhinge its jaw, giving it the appearance of a massive, powerful head.
Wow.
In reality, there's no muscle or power behind the wide-open maw. Pelican eels stick to feasting on small crustaceans that can be snapped apart by its small teeth. These creepy fish can be found as deep as 1,600 to 9,800 feet below the surface, making them one of the deepest residing animals featured
in a Disney
our
movie.
list.
It's kind of cool. I like these.
If hell exists, there's no doubt it's full of terrifying creatures.
Terrifying?
Much of the mythology associated with hell borrows from actual animals found in our planet's
really
ecosystems.
cute. I like this thing.
The vampire squid is certainly unique when
squid?
compared to its fellow cephalopods.
What? What's scary about this? It's cute as hell. It's got a little cute blue eye. It's a cool color. How would you be scared by this? This is, like, out of anything, I think this is actually a cute animal, right? The other ones, okay, you got a giant mouth gonna suck you up or whatever. Does this scare you? That scares you? What? Derek, you're scared by this? Come on. It's huge, is it? How big is it? Oh, actually, I don't know how big it is. I think it's cute. All right, let's find out. Let's see how big it is. I think that thing's cute.
Despite its name, it was originally believed to be an octopus before being reclassified in a separate order where it was the last of its kind.
Stuff on it.
It's one of the smallest creatures on our list today,
It's small.
only reaching about 6 inches in
It's
size.
6 inches!
The vampire
It's this
squid's
big.
tentacles
Come
are all
You're
bound by a
this?
webbing that gives the
What's it
vampire
gonna do,
squid the
bite your
appearance
butt? Come
of
on.
flying through the water, much like a vampire flies using its cape in some cases. Once their oral cavity is opened, its tentacles are covered in small spines that resemble the teeth of a vampire. It also has the peculiar trait of being able to create flashes of light as long as several minutes, making prey or predator disoriented. The vampire squid resides in some of the deepest, darkest parts of the ocean, between 2,000 and 3,000 feet. They are able to survive in very low light and low oxygen environments thanks to their larger gills. You'll likely never encounter one of these vampiric animals, but don't worry, they are no threat to humans and prefer to eat the feces, not blood, of other animals to survive.
You guys, what I'm noticing is you guys seem to be a little bit delayed in the chat today, like your reactions to what I'm saying. I just want to make sure I have my settings right. I swear I had this on ultra low latency. I swear I did. How do I check that now? Yeah, it's on ultra low. I don't know. It seems like you guys are reacting a little bit slower than usual to the stuff I'm saying, and I'm like, like it's a little bit delayed. I don't know. Maybe it's just YouTube today. Anyway, that is not scary to me at all, and it does not look like a vampire. If I were this squid, I'd be very upset with all of you for making fun of it. It's not scary in any way. It's cute. Okay, Megamouth. See, now this one will be very cute, I bet.
We've already seen two very different but equally freaky breeds of deep sea sharks. For a group of animals that have survived on this planet for so long, there really never is a...
Ruby says, do kidnap videos next, then ghost stuff? You actually want to see stories about people getting kidnapped? Why? I want to do ghost stuff. I want to find some ghost stuff. I think we definitely got to try to find that next. Okay, let's continue.
Source of fascination for them or their variety. This final shark on our list may give you some insight into just how many different species are floating in the ocean, surviving whatever way possible. The Megamouth Shark's name lacks subtlety. It floats through the ocean with its gigantic maw wide open, collecting plankton and jellyfish wherever it can. Its mouth is lined by disturbingly shaped lips that have a rubbery texture. These sharks are so rare that they...
It's interesting. It's like whales do the same thing. So they don't actively hunt. They just open their mouth, and their mouths are so big, they take in so much water and everything. And then their body is designed to filter the water for food particles, like plankton. And if they catch any animals in their mouth, they just go, whoop, suck it right in. And that's how they eat. They don't actually actively have to, like, hunt. They just, it's kind of unique.
They have only been caught about 60 times, according to human records. By day, they swim up to 520 feet below the surface, and at night, they are only about 80 feet below the surface. It swims very slowly, making it susceptible to larger, more vicious breeds of shark and other apex predators. The Megamouth is nothing special in terms of unique traits, but it is certainly one of the rarest species in the ocean. It just goes to show that you never know what you'll find the further into the sea you search.
That's crazy. It just filters everything through its mouth. The beautiful death.
Naturally, many of the deep ocean's creatures have no place in other ecosystems.
That's pretty.
Their bizarre genetic mutations may not even allow them to survive in places with low water pressure.
Look at this thing.
In other cases, their genetics have allowed them to become some of the most beautiful creatures on our planet, and equally as deadly.
That's probably poisonous.
The blue-ringed octopus derives its name from the many pulsating blue rings that appear on its body. Its yellow skin and brown spots are lined with such a vibrant color that it is truly breathtaking.
It's nice.
This alluring creature hides deep in the ocean in crevices while camouflaging themselves as they wait for prey. These stealthy predators consume crabs and shrimp, but their deadliness doesn't just come from their cunning attacks.
No, it's gotta be
One blue-ringed octopus has enough venom inside its body to kill almost 30 full-grown human beings within mere minutes.
Most of the most colorful creatures in nature are the deadliest. They do it on purpose. They look nice to attract you, and then zoop, gotcha. You gotta be careful, man.
The venom causes nausea, respiratory arrest, and heart failure, along with paralysis.
Damn.
Their primary instinct is to flee from harm, but if they feel backed into a corner, they will attack. This can be apparent by its rings pulsating and brown spots darkening.
That's why I believe the rule of thumb is if you're like someone who scuba dives, if you see something pretty, document it from a distance, but never go after it. Because if you make a creature feel like it's cornered, you know, you'll be the one odd statistic of the person who was rarely killed by this octopus because you were an idiot and you chased it and it felt cornered.
While they are a deep-sea creature, they will also live in shallow reefs and tide pools, so approach with caution. Messing with one may be the last thing you ever do.
Just watch and record it. Leave it alone.
Deep-sea giganticism is the tendency of some species deep within the ocean to grow to extraordinary sizes compared to relatives who dwell in the shallower parts of the ocean. There is no absolute answer as to why this happens. It could be because of adaptation to food scarcity, intense deep-sea pressure, or the chilling cold of the ocean depths. Either way, some of the largest, most horrific beasts are floating too deep for us to document. Sometimes they can take on mythological proportions, and occasionally myths become reality. You may have already heard about giant squids from popular culture. Once depicted as the Kraken in fiction, the giant squid has only recently been seen in its natural habitat. In 2004, the Japanese were able to take still images of a living sample. In 2012, another one was filmed off the island known as Chikijima near Tokyo. They normally reside between 900 and 3,000 feet below the surface, far deeper than any other of its species. Their build is very similar to other squids, bearing a mantle, 8 arms, and 2 longer tentacles, all lined with suction cups. They also bear small fins used to navigate as they rhythmically pulse through the deep ocean. It also has the distinction of having the largest eyes of any living creature, aside from its equally hideous relative, the colossal squid. Their only known predators are sperm whales and possibly sharks when they are in their infancy. These gigantic creatures could very well give you nightmares, but rest assured, they rarely come up from the deep
Yeah, why
sea.
would they come after humans? That's stupid as hell. They're going to stay under there and eat everything underwater. They're not going to come to the surface.
It's not surprising
Dude,
our
dude, I
freakiest
like this
deep-sea
guy.
creature
No, I like
plays
this
off
crab.
of one of the most common fears.
This guy is cool.
Spiders and other long-legged critters
I'll take the
seem to
crab.
have
The
a
crab
knack
is really
for
neat.
freaking people out. It's no surprise that the ocean is home to long-legged anthropods. Many seafood lovers have probably dined out on crab before, but imagine the terror you would feel if you saw this oversized
That's
marine
awesome.
crab
No, that's
coming
cool.
your way.
Are you kidding me? That thing's
The
awesome.
Japanese spider crab has an incredible leg span of up to 18 feet, and they can weigh up to 42 pounds. Found mostly off of the southern coast of the Japanese island Honshu, they prefer deep-sea areas between 160 to about 2,000 feet deep. They tolerate water that hovers around 50 degrees Fahrenheit and prey upon both plants and animals. Sometimes a scavenger, they are versatile, horrific creatures known for causing serious injuries with
Really?
their claws. They are considered a delicacy to some, but outside of Suruga Bay, you won't have to worry about them showing up on your shores or your dinner plate anytime soon.
I like that.
That's all for now.
See,
Remember-
that out of all of them, that's not creepy to me. That's like, that's an anomaly. It is like a daddy long legs crab, and it's just cool. Like that actually, that kind of stuff I like. Like, you ever go to your local pet store, and they have like those cleaner shrimp. Those shrimp that have arms and they clean everything in your aquarium. Some people are freaked out by them. It looks like a bug. I think it looks amazing. I like those things. I like that guy. Some of those things were fucked up and messed up, but I actually really liked that crap. All right, cool. Well, that was our first hour of reacting to Rob Gavagan. Very different. I think what I'm going to do next, I definitely want to try to find something supernatural and check that out. All right, excellent.